Wonderful.
Welcome back to Digi Bros, everybody. What was that?
What's
what was that
up?
guy? What was that?
He's just a guy. Don't worry about him.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it.
You're
You're not gonna listen to his fucking dialogue anyway. So what's the point?
I don't know. Just find out. Like, I just want to see that there's a guy, man. It's like
he's like your kind of lore guide through this place.
I see.
He's got lots of shit to say.
Nightmares are fascinating.
Yeah.
He looks like he
Guide
doesn't
me
want to
through the
do
nightmare,
anything
bitch.
with anybody.
Yeah. He's got a little sack on his back.
He's
got a bow.
Doing
He's
like the ninja
bow
face
blade
thing.
hunter.
What was that door you opened? Was that just a shortcut?
Yeah, it's just a shortcut back to the beginning. Do. I'm gonna do lots of running.
I really
around
like this place.
past
I like
things.
this DLC because they made everything look really different. Oh, and we're getting into my favorite area now, where it's just
It's a river of blood.
fucking disgusting.
With these fucking disturbing fuckboys running around. I'm just gonna run right past all of them. Just gonna run right by.
Yeah, I love that this place is just
Oh.
piles and piles of bodies and a river of blood.
They finally went like, we're gonna go absolutely all the way far with this river of blood
but
shit.
what's great about it is that it's daytime.
Yes.
Like, that's what I think is cool about it, is that it's like, you know, it's not even... It's, okay, to me...
This dude chased me with a Gatling gun
if
now.
I were
I'm
to
not gonna
think-
fight him.
Like if you show a bunch of bodies and stuff and it's dark, then that's like horror, like in an aesthetic sense, right? Like it makes you
Yes.
creeped out because you're like, oh man, there's dead bodies and it's dark. But when you're faced with like dead bodies in broad daylight, that's like horror in the social sense of
Yeah.
like, oh, this is like our monstrous reality that we live in. You
Yes.
know, like if you were
Nothing's hiding. It's
Yeah.
kind of just terrifying.
like when you see like images of like a genocide happening or something, or like, you know, people getting killed in the streets
Yeah.
in broad daylight, to me that's always like even more frightening and
Yes.
fucked up, because you're like, oh, this isn't a horror movie, this is the state of the world. You know, this is happening in broad daylight. This isn't in the shadows. This isn't crazy people who go out at night and stalk and kill people. This is just like massacre happening, you know?
Yeah.
And this gives me that vibe of like, something happened in this city where just fucking everyone got killed. And
Yeah.
their bodies were just piled in the fucking ravines.
I can explain my theory on the lore of this place if you want.
Okay, go
And
ahead.
explain some depth of this
Hey,
game.
Look at this shit. This is
But
this is
basically,
fucked.
in the city of Yarnum, there was like a plague happening, and so this thing called the Healing Church came about when, like, the people of the city stumbled upon these ancient ruins where they discovered the healing blood of the ancient ones that, like, by taking this blood, it's supposed to be able to cure any illness. And so there was this plague going on. The church comes out with this blood. Everyone starts drinking the blood constantly to cure their illnesses. And then gradually the people drinking the blood start to turn into monsters. And so in like the poorest areas of the town where the plague was the worst, which is what the old Yarnum place was that we went through, and that's where I fought the blood-starved beasts and shit. That's where the plague was the worst, and so they established the hunters to go and hunt the monsters. And so I think right now we're inside the hunter's nightmare, and we're fighting what are called the old hunters. And so my theory is that what we're seeing now is like the genocide of that poor district that was like
So in other
overrun
words,
with disease.
These hunters are going around just killing everybody.
Yes, and
that's
so this
why-
is like a river of blood in a slaughter of that. And this is also, because we're in a nightmare, I think this is like whoever's experience this is how they're remembering it in their nightmare, as this fucking thousands of bodies, ocean of blood kind of event that was like scarring them.
Right.
And I think that is so fucking badass!
Yeah, if that really is the lore, then that's a pretty fucking awesome story.
But yeah, I mean, that is the actual lore, but that is my interpretation of what this represents in terms of the lore, where it's still kind of open-ended on like
Yeah.
what this nightmare is and what it
That's a
means in
fucking
the
rad
story.
story.
But yeah.
I feel like my appreciation for that story is dramatically increased by CGP Gray's video on how plagues work. Did you watch that?
No.
It's from like a month ago.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Basically, he was explaining why there's no such thing as the America pox, like why there was never a plague from the U.S.
Yeah.
And it's because, like, you know, everyone knows that when the settlers from England came to America, then they brought, like, plagues and it killed all the Indian people, right? Or the Native Americans, rather. And so he was explaining why there was no plagues that came back. Like, why did American plagues not come back to the old world? And basically it's because plagues can only come from cities that are tightly, densely populated. And they come, like, almost all plagues come from livestock. And, like, you know, it'll be, like...
Holy shit, that's a lot of
It'll
damage.
either be pigs or cows, especially cows, or, like, you know, any kind of livestock that we keep around. And, like, back in the old days, there was lots of animals that were domesticated in, like, England and in the West, but I mean, not the West, but in like the in Europe. But there were no domesticatable animals in North America or South America. Like, the only animal that was ever domesticated was llamas, and they're like useless, basically.
Wow.
So, like,
domesticated llamas.
Yeah. Like, I think it was llamas. It was like, yeah, like llamas and alpacas and like pack animals like that.
Yes.
Like,
I want to imagine this llama living in our house.
That's not what I mean by domesticated. I mean, like, we had them around. Like, we were raising them for, like, animals that you would raise to use, you know?
Yeah.
There were none of those in North America. People had to eat, like, bison and shit that you could not train. You could not, like, keep them around, you know? And so, basically, in Europe, everyone had animals around them all the time. And, like, they would have these big populated cities where animals are just walking through the streets and shit, you know?
Yeah.
And he was explaining how, like, a plague is like a 1 in a million chance of, like, you know, like, only 1 in a million animals is going to carry a plague that a human will get. But if you put 1 million animals in a place and there's 1 million people there and one of those people gets that plague from that animal, it will spread like wildfire. And, like, the plague has to have a dense populace to get through, because he was saying, like, a plague in, like, airborne will only last like a day, but like it'll go through people like super fast. And so, you know, all these plagues would hit all these cities because we had animals around.
No,
whereas,
that was a cool thing here. Did you see that dude's
yes,
shadow on
I
the
saw
wall?
the dude's shadow.
Yeah, fucking love that.
Pretty blatant. But
but it's cool.
yeah. But yeah, since America did not have any of those things, we did not have big cities, there was not any, like, you know, pack animals and shit like that around, there was just no plagues here.
Yeah.
So when you look at Yarnum, which is an incredibly densely packed town, you know, a city that's like, that's ridiculously close together.
And it's also said that when they found the miracle cure, like, people started flocking to the city, you know,
right, which would probably make the plague worse.
Yeah. So, and it was people with diseases coming from all around the world bringing their diseases to the town. So it's like, it just became really fucked really fast.
Incidentally, if you want the more thorough version of that whole explanation I just did, go watch CGP Gray's video on why there's no America pox.
Yeah.
He has other videos about, like, why livestock get plagues and shit too. So, yeah, interesting stuff.
Neat shit.
It was probably one of the more interesting CGP Grey videos I'd seen in a while. I was glad he finally did one that was not just about explaining geography. Like, all those are fascinating. He has a lot of videos about borders, like where borders are and what they mean and stuff. They're all really interesting, but man, he did a lot of videos about borders. He must have been really into it. And it takes so long for a CGP Grey video to get made that it's like,
fuck.
It's nice when one comes out and it's
look at all the birds.
Really interesting.
Fucking birds are the worst enemy in this game, goddammit. Because they will kill me. And it's annoying because they're on the ground.
Incidentally, if you don't follow CGP Grey, you should. He's definitely the most... In terms of educational channels on YouTube, I would say he's by far my favorite.
Definitely one of the most legit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, with stuff like... I know a lot of people like Vsauce, and, like, the thing about Vsauce, me and Victor have complained about this before, I think. I don't know if on Digi Bros, though. But, like, the thing about Vsauce is that he'll explain shit that, like, you would have already figured out.
When you're 12. But.
Yeah. Like, because, like, both of us agreed that we only really understood Vsauce when it occurred to us that young people watch it.
Yeah,
you know, like,
exactly.
Like, people who haven't thought about this shit yet watch it. But, like, for instance, he had this video called, like, do we see different colors? Like is your green the same as my green type thing? And like I thought it was gonna be like explaining how and why we do, but it was more
just
like
literally just posing the question. It's like, dude, I remember thinking that when I was 8.
Yeah,
that's nothing new.
Well, I remember we had a whole conversation about that after watching The Matrix. Because we, as a family, we went out and saw The Matrix 2 in theaters, and like it was funny because I was probably 12, so you were probably like 11 or 10. We were there at the restaurant, and I was like posing all these like ideas about like whether or not we all see the same colors.
Yeah.
And Dad was just kind of like mind blown a little bit, like it was funny that I was like 12 and I was coming up with these like I don't know if it's philosophical, but like those ideas. But yeah, it was weird to watch that video, and he kind of presented it like, dude, what if you don't have the same green that I do? And I was like,
no fucking way.
I was like, yeah.
Could that possibly be a thing?
Yeah.
That's fucking blowing my mind.
And it was like 8.5 minutes of explaining why that could be the case, and I was like, okay, I already knew, and he just presents it like it's so mind-blowing and new of an idea, and I was just like, this is maybe this shows.
Are you fucking doubting
a little young
how
for me.
Mind-blowing that idea was? Because I thought it was pretty fucking phenomenal.
And he talks really slow. Whereas like CGP Grey is all like, although CGP Grey does talk slow, he like very pronounces every word, but his sentences are densely packed, and he makes his point really quickly, and he'll tell you a lot of shit in the span of 5 minutes. Like you'll learn everything about a subject matter that you never even fucking had thought of before in a few minutes.
Got my new ideal weapon. This is the weapon I used to beat the game last time, so I will use this the rest of the time.
Oh, you got it already?
Yep.
Alright. I'm gonna pick up this hot dog I dropped earlier.
You're gonna eat a hot dog.
No, I'm not gonna eat it. I just wanted to pick it up.
That's fucked, man.
I just really wanted to get that hot dog off the ground. It was bothering me.
Very clean.
For clarification, that hot dog was in a case. It was not a...
No, there's literally just a hot dog on Conrad's floor.
Yes.
Don't believe him.
No, it's a...
He just threw a hot dog on the ground like a fucking asshole.
A case containing a hot dog.
No.
Man, how shitty was that Hardee's we got?
Pretty bad. It's pretty bad Hardee's experience.
Hardee's,
they're pretty
man.
hit and miss. I like their chicken strips when they're made properly, but when their chicken strips get cold, they're real bad.
Yeah, they fall apart real quick when they're cold. You had cold chicken. We both had lukewarm, shitty fries.
Yeah.
Had like a ham sandwich, hot dog, all around just
pretty mediocre.
Really, really mediocre. I once again reminding myself I should stop eating fast food.
Yeah.
So I don't have this problem at restaurants. I don't go there and walk out like every other time and go, that time it kind of sucked,
Yeah.
Like I don't have that. I've been going to this bagel restaurant a few times.
it was 9 o'clock. Just wanted to get something real quick because dinner was... We had veggie meat sloppy joes, and that's just like the worst possible thing I can imagine, honestly. It's awful.
The worst possible thing you could imagine.
Veggie meat sloppy joes are awful. Veggie meat's already awful, but veggie meat sloppy joes are pretty fucking bad.
Jesus Christ, how many blood vials did you just buy?
I bought 38 blood vials.
Oh, that's not as many as I thought.
Yeah. I want to get more... I want to upgrade this shit to like plus 10 before we do all this DLC stuff because it's going to be hard. So we're going to go back to the Nightmare Frontier. Different nightmares.
Grind?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we're going to go do a level.
Are we going to grind that ass, dog?
Let's explore the lecture building.
Just shake that ass.
I usually kind of run straight through here because it's not, there's no boss to this specific area, but it's still really cool to look at. I
was just remembering that I had like a topic idea for Digibros yesterday, and I was trying to like bring it back into my head. I don't want to get into it yet because we're close to the end of an episode.
I see.
But
dude, are you ever walking and you decide, you know what? I'm gonna walk a different way, then you start walking a different way, and you feel amazing.
What do you mean by a different way?
Like, you know, you have, like, the specific way you walk. Like, you know...
Like, you're changing the actual way that you walk. Like, not the path that you're walking, but the way
you're walking.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a goofy walk. It could just be maybe you distribute your weight differently, and now you have a different walk. And then you're like, whoa, swag.
I have done that, but not while, like, walking, like, out for a walk.
No, I mean, just, like, going into Wawa, and you're just like, I'm bored. I'm gonna walk this way today.
Like, walking through the house or a familiar location, yes, I understand that. I change up my walk through the house quite often. But if I'm, like, going for a walk, there's, like, an optimal way to do that to not, A, take 9 years, and B, hurt your legs. You know.
I've been wanting to say that for the last 3 recordings for some reason.
Why didn't you before?
Because I kept forgetting because you'll go on some kind of rant, and I'm always thinking that, like, before we start recording, I'm like, alright, I'm gonna bring up that stupid idea I had, and it's gonna be real dumb, and I'm gonna feel real cute, and then I don't do it.
So, I made you remember it by bringing up the idea of thinking about a Digi topic.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yay.
We are on episode 19 of this, you know.
Holy
already.
shit.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a fresh minute before this comes out.
Currently there are 2 episodes released. So, yeah, we are way more on top.
Weeks ahead
of the game than we have been in a very long... What the fuck? That fucked with my head for a second there. I don't remember this place at all. Have we been here before?
No.
Oh,
I left...
What's that theater seats down there?
Yeah, we're gonna go down there.
Oh.
This is the lecture building.
I see.
This is also in a nightmare.
What the fuck was that?
So when we got to the end of that fucked up part of the old city with all the amygdalas hanging around, then we found those dudes with the cones on their head, and it looked like a bunch of them had like sacrificed themselves. And then we went inside the nightmare. So now we're inside that guy's nightmare.
We described them as bird cages.
Yes, they're cages that they wear to become closer to the eldritch gods.
Ugh, eat a dick. I did not have the intended effect. Fuck you, Jabberwocky.
Woo!
We all agree that those things have Jabberwocky mask faces, right?
I guess.
Like the dancing group Jabberwocky from America's Best Dance Crew season 1. The only ones that anyone remembers.
It's funny because those masks were around, you know, way before that dance group, and now it's just like synonymous with them. It's like, oh, that's a Jabberwocky mask.
Hey, man.
And now the term Jabberwocky refers to a dance group and not a fictional creature from a Alice in Wonderland story.
Yeah.
It's not even part of the Alice in Wonderland lore. It's just the same guy. But
right.
I did a paper on that.
Alice Carroll story.
Yes.
What the fuck is that spider thing? Oh, God. Oh, he's got a face. He's a talkie spider.
That's, it's Patches. He's a spider now.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. It's Patches.
Yes. For anyone who doesn't know, Patches is in every game.
Apparently,
you've seen him in Dark Souls.
I wasn't paying a lot of attention when I was watching the guy who beat the game in an hour. But apparently, he just swatted Patches off that door and went through. Like, somehow. Like, he just fucking ran up and smacked him away. And
it's advised to kill him because he will push you later into, like, a...
It's fucking Patches. Of course he will. Is he actually called Patches in this? Like, what's he called? Or is he
I don't think he's called anything. It's just, like, the same voice actor or whatever. So
it's just
everyone
obviously
knows it's Patches.
Why didn't you kill him?
I don't know. I don't want to kill him.
You said he was going to push you later. Fuck him. Kill him.
Fine. I've never killed him.
Fucking piece of shit.
Let's kill the spider. Let him fuck you
over.
No. Uncharitably done.
He said it.
I like how he said that was uncharitably done, bro. Bro, that was uncharitable as fuck.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how it was.
Bro.
You got
how
some,
uncharitable.
All right, next time on Digi Bros,
Hey.
more spider stomping and dungeon crawling.
Lecture buildings. This is how college was for me.